There was no speed limits, no laws for us. We could do anything we wanted out there. We get to London, the car gets there, and it's great to go to the Gumball garage before all the cars are sticking up. All the cars are pristine, waxed, before the cracked windshields, before the bumper chips. You see what the cars look like before we wreck them. And you go down there and meet all the celebrities that were on the Gumball. And it was really cool because Ryan Dunn and Bam were on this one, and Tony Hawk. Okay, this is inside the Gumball garage. Right here, this is Bam's Lambo. It's the one he used to cut the roof off with Billy Idol. Jeep. SRT8, nice. That is Tony Hawk's. And then there's our Porsche, 2001 Carrera 4. Pall Mall in London, main strip, that's where they close everything off to start the Gumball rally. And it just seemed like everybody in London came out to see us. We run through London, go to the Channel Tunnel, take the Channel Tunnel through France. We were in a group that was in the back, so we missed the train by like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So now we're behind the rest of the group. This first leg is pretty much almost 2 days of driving. And one of the people that we got stuck with was Joe Francis of Girls Gone Wild. He was in some kind of rock star energy drink Challenger Charger thing that broke down. So we're just talking about, DVDs and stuff. I had a couple of my DVDs with my business card and I gave it to him. He's like looking at Mischief Dynasty. It was our 5th one. He actually heard about it. He's like, oh, you guys are doing pretty well, aren't you? I said, yeah, pretty well. This might be a connection. It was just cool to talk to somebody about that. So I wanted to exchange information and talk more about our DVDs, but he said, we'll just talk about it later on the rally because the train came and we kind of split up. That's what happens. Went over into France and we went to a castle for like a check-in. We left there, we met up with some SLRs. There was 13 SLR McLarens on this rally. It was incredible. Got some great footage of them at night, racing together, and then we came to like a roadblock and the police escorted everybody out into this rest stop. And I thought we were all getting nailed. They were just doing a check. I knew I had to do something with the Gumball. And I remember that the radar detectors were illegal. I forget what country it was, but Deepak's like, hide the radar detector, which I did, but I forgot to unplug it. So when the cop came and asked for license registration, check out the car, it goes off and he takes our Valentine one. This is like the first couple hours of the first day, so that wasn't good. We get lost with Bam and Ryan Dunn, and we're like sitting there, and they see the Maryland plate, and they knew we spoke English, so we're trying to help each other out, and we were absolutely no help.
Our nav broke about 9 hours ago. We went all the way to Brussels.
Well, yeah. Brussels, Belgium?
Yeah. We drove 4 hours in the wrong direction. What's going on right now?
I think our nav kit's telling us to go down, to go somewhere.
It's early morning. We're still cruising with Bam. We've got this motorcycle cop that runs up on me. I think we're in Austria. And he points to me. I'm driving. And he said, follow me. I'm like, oh, we got a police escort. And I'm following him. And then he goes off to like a rest area. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting in trouble. There's a sticker you're supposed to have in the window to pay to drive through the country. We didn't know that. So it was a stupid ticket. But it was really cool for Ryan Dunn to film me and exchange footage with me. There's a stop in Vienna. Then the first night, finally, after driving for 2 days, was in Hungary. I finally met up with Joe Francis again, and just to see if we can talk. Maybe I was just like, what the hell? I shoot my shot. See if he'll help me distribute the next DVD. And we were talking in the elevator, and then he goes, oh my God. I'm like, what? He's like, these jeans have holes in them, and I lost my wallet. And I'm like, that sucks. He's like, I can't go anywhere without this wallet. So that was the end of our conversation. I never saw him the whole rest of the trip. Spend the night there, and we're told we're going to Serbia, and we have to be there a certain amount of time to put the cars on the plane, and we're going to Thailand. And like I said, the logistics is crazy with this rally because everything had to be on time. If your car broke down, get it towed to the plane, or it's going to be stuck in the country. There's no way you're going to get the car to the next destination if you're not on that plane. It'd probably be cheaper to leave the car in that country and just write it off because just getting the car out of there would be more expensive. We got to the airport on time. This is our first time putting the cars on a plane, and some people didn't get the memo that you would have to have less than a quarter tank of gas in the cars before getting in the plane. So now that people finally make it there on time, have to go drive around and race around the airport to, bring the fuel gauge down. And I wish I was a part of that to see that because the street racers love that. Loaded up the 3 Antonovs. We all the Gumballers got onto the Icelandic Air, take off. And now we get a bunch of crazy drivers in one plane, and it's open bar. And the tomfoolery of just, we trashed this plane. I felt so bad for the flight attendants because they were like, they got the little moose hats and they're so friendly, and we're just, give us more drinks, and we just did this crazy race, and we had like the biggest pillow fight I've ever seen in my entire life on this plane. They gave us 2 cool little Gumball logo pillows, and it was a complete disaster.
Ladies and gentlemen, once more for your own safety and comfort, please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt at this time. After all, life is far too short to sacrifice it for a pillow.
We get to Thailand, and actually the 757 got there faster than the Antonovs because they had to refuel a couple times. So we had a day to like take a break, decompress in Phuket. And being in Thailand was awesome because we were invited by the Thai government. This was 2 years after the tsunami, and they're trying to bring business back because that was such a crazy disaster. Since we were invited by the Thai government, we had pretty much free reign on the highways. There was no speed limits, no laws for us. We could do anything we wanted out there. The next day, the Antonovs landed. They pulled out all the cars into this one parking lot, and we're getting ready to launch. We're driving from a 1-day trip from south of Thailand to Bangkok, north of Thailand, 1 day. But the problem was everybody's fuel was pretty much on empty by the time they got the cars off the planes. This is tropical jungle weather. All the ACs are on all the cars. And before we even start, cars are running out of gas left and right. So they're running around with gas cans. And when they launch, you go. Nobody's heading to Bangkok. Everybody is going to the first gas station to fill up. We end up following this crazy couple from Dubai in their SLR McLaren. We get to Bangkok and all had a great time. So I'll wake up in Bangkok. We're getting ready to, all we have to do is just drive to the airport. And we all know the rule now that we have less than a quarter tank of gas. But so the fast group we were in decided, hey, we're going to fly in the wrong direction. We're going to speed in the wrong direction away from the airport. And now everybody's running out of gas. And it's just like, it was like a nightmare because the whole getting the cars on the plane on time. Finally find the airport. And we get there, and it was a group of like 5 cars. And we can't figure out what part of the cargo area to, because we have to actually drive on the taxiway. I guess that's what it's called. It's not the runway, but like the taxiway where the Antonovs are lined up to line your cars up. And we can't find it. We're all freaking out. So there's these guys in a Mercedes actually kidnap a cop. They didn't kidnap a cop, but they said, hey, ride with us, show us where to go. But it looks like we're kidnapping the guy and putting him in the back of this CL-55. We ride around, and he finally figured out where to go. This gate opens where the runway is. And as soon as we let him out, we're just doing like 100 miles an hour down the taxiway. And, in the background, you see the giant Antonov planes and the cars lined up. And it was so cool just to fly through there, drop the cars off just as the third Antonov is landing. Load the cars up, get on the flight, and the first announcement before we took off was how horrible we were to the staff. Not me, of course, but how horrible the Gumballers were, all the rude behavior and getting drunk. They cut off the free bottle service, and once we got in the air, the first movie they played was Brokeback Mountain, which thank goodness everybody just used that time to sleep. We landed in Salt Lake City, Utah. We still had to wait an extra day for the Antonovs to fly in, get cleaned up at the hotel, and we go to the movie theater for a private screening of Mission Impossible 3. That's when we first saw our Gumball fans in the United States, which was nothing compared to the crowds in the other countries, but it was definitely a lot bigger than the crowds we saw in 2002. Next day, we go to the airport. All the cars are unloaded. Everybody's having the same problem. We're almost out of gas. And so we leave the airport, and we're supposed to go like a parade route through Salt Lake City, show everybody the cars, and then head out to a racetrack. We go the wrong way. We run out of gas. Within 10 minutes, this Range Rover that was behind us pulled over, pulled the tow strap out, attached it to our car, and then in 10 minutes, we were at a gas station. What I loved about the Gumballs, you're helping each other out. You're not competing against each other. We're all trying to make it to the same hotel party together. We go to the racetrack. Deepak gets a couple hot laps. Some people go to the Salt Flats. We go straight to Vegas. Go to Hard Rock Hotel. Snoop Doggy Dogg performs for us. Have a great time. Next day, we have one last day. We run through Death Valley, and the rally ends in Beverly Hills.
We're back in the States. They let us back in. And we finished.
Only barely.
In 8 days, they successfully got all these cars across 3 continents. I say 10 countries, but people are getting lost, maybe 12 countries. We all got to LA on time for the final party at the Playboy Mansion. And I'm telling you, it's going to go down as the craziest rally period. I don't see anybody else doing another rally like this. And I don't even think Gumball is going to do another rally like this because luck was on their side. Everything worked out perfectly. Definitely the best rally that's ever taken place.
Auto Tempest is the best way to search for your next car because they compile all the results from all over the internet, all the major listing sites into one place with one search. We've always loved them for that, but it's getting even better because they're now beta testing their new simple search, and you can access that right now by using the link in the description below or the QR code on your screen. So gone are the days of endless drop-down menus of year, make, model, trim, all the things, unless you want to because it is still there. But now you can just type in one simple search string and let Auto Tempest do the rest. We've always loved that Auto Tempest lets you get the results from everywhere without having to go to each site and search for the same thing over and over again, but now they're making it even easier with their simple search. So check them out now to thank them for their support of VINwiki and find your next car on Auto Tempest.